beautiful stuff. So I wanted to ask you, so I'm from Canada originally and from the Vancouver region. So I want to get an actual perspective on like people talk about Ryan Reynolds in Wrexham like he's done some amazing things, but you're actually on the ground, you're from there. How is he actually viewed by people from Wrexham?
Almost as definitely a legend. I was
Wow.
going to say almost as like him and Rob are like saviors,
Yeah.
saviors of the football club, and it's just had a massive impact on the town as a whole. Like I said, there's Canadians over when I walk through Wrexham. I'm seeing like Americans, Canada. It's just crazy to think what they've done and how it's affected Wrexham as a whole. It's been amazing.
Man, yeah, because they tell me when I'm wrong, but they moved up. So I'm not an expert on the British style football, but they moved up from the lower league to the higher league. Is that right?
So they were actually they've moved up now. So when they took over, they were in the league below League Two, which is
Gotcha.
like some pro clubs, some part-time clubs.
Yeah.
So they've gone up from that league into League Two, and then they've gone straight from League Two into League One. So they're like a couple below the Premier League now, and they're doing well this year. I think they're like second in the table at the moment. So if they manage to go all the way to the Premier League without having one season in one league, which is going to be tough, it'll be like unheard of.
So we should take that model. He came in, found a team, sponsored it, gave them millions of dollars, and moved them up. Yeah, I'm from Vancouver. You're from Wrexham. We should get in contact with Ryan and see if he'll sponsor you, right?
Yeah, that would be good. I'd be all over that. Like when the club had no money, I used to play for Wrexham as a kid, and had some contacts there. And the club had no money, and at the time, they didn't have a gym,
Mhm.
so we would let them come and use our gym for free. And we had some indoor football pitches, and if the ground was too hard, we'd let them come and use it, and they'd all come down. And obviously, they ended up buying the club, and now they've got their own world class facilities and stuff. But if Rob and Ryan, I know Rob's a big UFC fan. I've seen him at the UFCs and that. If he wants to get on board, that'd be awesome.
Man, let's get these guys on board. Now, you were playing for Wrexham a while ago. Now, football was your first love, and turning to MMA, like I know a lot of people go from like football to other sports and stuff like that, but turning to MMA is quite the turn. So, why was combat sports your first choice after football?
Well, I was on a part-time contract with Wrexham at the time, like playing youth team and reserves. And my uncle, he started taking a class for cystic fibrosis, which I
Yeah,
was born with. So
yeah.
my uncle every summer would travel out to America, and he would go and train with Eric Poulsen in the summers. And then Eric ended up like making him a CSW coach and stuff. So he just started taking a class for charity. And obviously it was for CF. All the proceeds went to cystic fibrosis. So I was like, oh, I've got to go to that.
Mhm.
And then just one night become 2 nights, become 3 nights, become
Wow.
like I want to fight. And it just grew from there really. I couldn't say it was meant to happen, but it's almost like what I've been doing all my life fighting anyway. It just fell in at the right time with the right people.
Man, I think you've been in the sport for longer than 10 years. You're talking about just doing this part-time, one night turns to two nights. It's been 11 years, man. How are you feeling looking back on the career in MMA now?
It's crazy, and sometimes I like have to like keep reminding myself like how far I've come and what I've done since I was born. But with
Mhm.
cystic fibrosis, and I started like MMA, loved it, and then started raising profile of cystic fibrosis through MMA. Like it was my first, it was on my shirt on my first fight, and just using it to grow that way. And I feel like sometimes I get caught in the moment I'm in now, which is also good. Like I'm got big fights coming up. I'm fighting on the biggest stage, and then to look back and actually think where it started and how it's got to this point, it's just crazy, and I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and I want to know about your mental strength and how you push forward because you're not only a survivor of cystic fibrosis, you're a survivor of cancer as well, going through chemotherapy just a few years ago. Like, how is your mental resilience, or how do you stay mentally resilient through these situations?
I feel like sometimes I haven't had a choice growing up, and it's just been like always like ingrained in me, and like it's almost like I've trained it like a muscle, going through all these problems and having to deal with stuff. And like I always like my dad always used to say something to me. It was when I started fighting. It was like, show me the fighter and I'll show you the person. Show me the person and I'll show you the fighter. So what I took from that was like fighting's like life and life's
Mm.
like fighting. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. Times you're in a tough situation. Times that you need to use your brain. Times that you need to bite down on your gum shield and move forward and take what's ever thrown at you. And I just feel like over time, experience, age, I've just got like mentally more adapt to certain situations. And obviously, the cancer was the big one because I used to say like everything I've gone through before this point was to get me through this and out the other side. And I feel like that was the toughest battle I've had, and like it's almost like your toughest battles become your greatest strengths in the future. And I feel like I've been able to take a lot from it that I can use in life now.
No, man, absolutely, and it totally shows as well in your career. Some highs, some lows. Right now, we're on a high. You're going to be fighting Zumagulov upcoming at Octagon 63 this weekend, November 9th. How is training coming for this matchup?
Training's gone really well. Like I'm at the stage in my career when it's just about tweaking little things, not adding too much, just making what I do well better, and just
Mm.
getting rid of some stuff I don't do well. And I feel like I've had a really good camp. This has been my longest break from a fight since I've been active.
Mhm.
Not through my own choice. I've wanted to fight, but just a bit of time on the sidelines, being able to get a fight in a day. And I do feel like it's helped me level up. Like I haven't had time off the gym. I've been preparing, like I had to fight straight away because I'm like, get me one, get me one. And I do feel like I'm improving. I'm at the stage where I'm obviously getting older. I don't know
Mhm.
how much time is left, but because I'm getting better in the gym, I'm developing, I'm progressing. I'm leveling up. I'm just going to keep going and keep improving. And this fight next week, this weekend is a tough fight. Zumagulov's good. He's been round there. He's well rounded. He's been a champion in organisations, and I feel
Mhm.
like it's going to be those small percentages that I've been looking to improve, which will make a difference on the night, and the decision making on the night, which is going to play a key factor in this fight.
Oh, absolutely. Are you a guy to watch tape? Have you watched him fight a few times? Do you see any weaknesses there?
I do watch tape. I've known of Zumagulov before they offered him me, just from watching him in the UFC. And remember thinking like some of his fights, I thought, he should have won, which they didn't give him. So I was keen on him. I'll do watch tape, like I coach as well. So I'm a coach. I have my own team, so I'm constantly watching like guys who everyone's coming up against, and I enjoy that side of it,
Mhm.
taking little things from it. So I've done that as well. I've put some little things together that I think might play out in certain scenarios, and just some areas which I feel like I'll be able to have an advantage on in this fight.
Oh, absolutely. And it sounds like whoever wins this fight will be fighting for a championship in the next match. Hearing all that, it's coming together. You're fighting Zumagulov, fighting for a championship in the next match. Man, it is coming together, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying not to think past it. At
Right.
times, at times, I've got too attached to what happens after the fight and not being in that moment. I've got to focus on the process of being in the fight. Like I've been in one fight and been thinking, like, finish this guy, you're in the UFC, finish this guy and you're in the UFC, and not thinking about, my shape, my management, managing the distance. So I feel like I need to just focus on the process, what's ahead of me now, whether that's weight cutting this week and then going into Zuma Gulov. But, you know, I'm not giving up on that hope of winning that Octagon belt and pursuing that goal. And I feel like, this is a big win because I lost the title in my last fight for it. And I did think maybe two, three more fights I'm going to have to win now. And then they put someone like Zuma Gulov in you, and the whole complexity of it changes. So I'm holding it in the back of my head, I would say.
Man, I love to hear it. Man, fighting Zhumagulov, been in this sport for years and years and years. For people who are now looking up to you, as an inspiration, what advice would you pass on to these people who are looking up to you and maybe getting into the sport because of you?
Uh, I feel like, like I get asked this question, and if I'm talking from a sporting point of view, I
Mhm.
think it's just about like doing the same things you'd tell any young athlete to do is be consistent, be the hardest worker, turn up with a good team around you, and follow the process. I've fortunate that a lot of people reach out to me with CF who are now getting into like jiu-jitsu, MMA, and I feel like doing something like this, like I said, because it relates so close to life, is going to be massive for people as you can grow as a person, whether you've got cystic fibrosis or not. There's so many things you can take from martial arts that you can use in your life, and it's just about there's no like quick pill you can take that's automatically going to make you good or grow. You've just got to learn from every lesson and trust it, and just know that your only failure is when you quit.
Absolutely. It's absolutely keep pushing forward. Man, absolutely awesome stuff. And now let me ask you about a training partner of yours or someone that you've coached, Dakota Ditcheva taking on Talia Santos. What's your prediction in this matchup?
I think Dakota finishes her. To be honest, I feel like when the girls were lined up at the start, I thought Talia was going to be one of the higher level out of the girls that she would get, but I just feel like Dakota's too sharp, too quick, a lot younger, and just she is the real deal. Like some people don't think she is because she hasn't had the step up in opponent yet, but
Mhm.
everyone she beats, then people are like, oh, she's just beating cans. And I'm like, no, she's just making them look like that. They're not. She's that good. And every camp, every fight, she seems to get better. She keeps progressing. She's like a sponge. And I'm looking forward to her becoming PFL champ at the
Oh,
end of
man.
this year. And I'll be there to see it.
Man, it's going to be a good one. But yeah, she comes from a Muay Thai kickboxing background. Like her mom was a world champion. Like people are saying, yeah, she's outstriking these people because she's been doing this since she was like 2 years old. Like she is actually that good of a striker, isn't she?
Yeah, she is that good of and she is that good of a striker, and she is good at grappling as well. She's a purple belt. She's got good grappling. She's been in the sport now, getting into like being into it quite a bit of time. Her wrestling's good. Her war work's good. She's really good at scrambling and getting up off her feet. Like she is that good, and she's proven it. And I feel like she'll prove it again in December.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. All right, but you're gonna be fighting Zumagulov at Octagon 63. Octagon always puts on the best shows. Like you can watch it right from their website. They have really good production if people haven't watched it. But last word, sir, goes to you. Talk us on out of here. Shout out who you need to shout out. Thank who you need to thank. All that good stuff.
Just Rob and Ryan, don't forget to sponsor me.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I just like to thank all my team for help preparing me, my sponsors, everyone who's been on this journey with me from the start. It does really mean a lot to me. I've got an army going over; they're all flying over to Slovakia, which is going to be great. Last time I was there, I was actually playing football for Wales, and I
Yeah.
scored a goal for Slovakia.
Oh,
You can
you're
hear
good.
me? Okay. Last time I was there, I scored for Slovakia, so they owe me one, and I just really appreciate like everyone who supported me, got me ready, and I'm going to be representing those people on the weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry about the sound. I don't know what's happened there. Good to speak.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.